We always seem to look up to the skies or to some wild new technology for answers to our biggest challenges. But what if the solution has been right under our feet this whole time? Today, we're digging deep into the living soil revolution. So let's just start with this one big question. Seriously, what if the key to stabilizing our entire climate wasn't in some futuristic lab, but was actually buried in the ground beneath us? Okay, to even begin to answer that, we've got to talk about a system that runs our entire planet, the carbon cycle. You can think of it like Earth's circulatory system. Carbon, I mean the literal building block of life, is constantly on the move, flowing through the air, the oceans, plants, animals, and, most importantly for our story today, the soil. All right, section 1, carbon, the element of life. So yeah, let's dive right in. We all know carbon is the stuff of life, but it's the soil. Scientists have a fancy name for it, the pedosphere, that acts as this critical hub. It's the grand central station where carbon can either be stored safely away for ages or released back into the atmosphere. And getting that balance right, well, that's everything. Okay, on to section 2, inside the living soil. So let's go on a little journey, shall we? Down into the ground to explore this hidden world. Because it is so much more than just dirt. It's a buzzing, dynamic, living ecosystem that holds an absolutely incredible amount of power. Now, take a look at this. See that tiny little sliver? In really healthy soil, something called soil organic carbon, or SOC, only makes up about 1 to 6% of the whole thing. But please, do not let that small number fool you. That little slice right there is the absolute heart of the soil. It's the engine that drives fertility, biodiversity, and its power to bounce back from just about anything. And get this, carbon isn't just stored in one simple way. It's way cooler than that. Think of it like a financial portfolio. You've got the labile pool, that's your checking account. It's fast, active carbon that microbes are using every single day. Then you have the intermediate pool. That's kind of like a savings bond, It holds on to decomposing stuff for decades. And then there's the stable pool. This is the long-term trust fund. This is carbon locked away as humus for centuries or even thousands of years. So who's the fund manager for this incredible carbon portfolio? Well, it's an army of tiny organisms. They're basically microbial alchemists. And their process? It's like pure magic. First, they decompose all the dead plants and animals. Then, just like us, they respire. They breathe out some CO2 for energy. But here's the most crucial step, humification. That's where they transform what's left into that super stable, long-term carbon storage we call humus. It's alchemy. All right, section 3, a cycle out of balance. For thousands and thousands of years, this whole system just worked. It was beautifully balanced. But, well, human activity has thrown a pretty big wrench in the works, and we are really starting to see the consequences. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Remember that healthy 1 to 6% range we talked about? Well, in parts of South Asia, things like intensive farming have pushed those soil organic carbon levels down below 1%. The very heart of the soil is getting weaker. And it's not just about CO2. When you change the soil's conditions, you change which microbes thrive. So in places that are flooded and don't have oxygen, like rice paddies, a whole different set of microbes takes over. And instead of CO2, they produce methane. It just goes to show how incredibly sensitive this whole underground world really is. So, why is that such a big deal? Why does methane matter so much? Because methane is 28 times more powerful at trapping heat in our atmosphere than carbon dioxide. A tiny little change in the soil can have a massive impact up in the air. And the scale of this problem is it's huge. Things like deforestation and degrading our lands now account for a staggering 10 to 12% of all global CO2 emissions. We are literally unlocking carbon that should be stored safely in the ground and pumping it right into the atmosphere. Okay, now for section 4, soil, our climate ally. But look, this is not a doom and gloom story, not at all. In fact, this is where things get really hopeful. Because the very system we've damaged, well, it holds the key to its own restoration. The soil can be our greatest ally in the fight for a stable climate. Okay, get ready for this fact. It is absolutely mind-blowing. The world's soils already hold nearly 3 times more carbon than our entire atmosphere. Just let that sink in. The storage capacity under our feet is immense. We just have to learn how to fill it back up again. And you know what? We even have a target to shoot for. There's an initiative called 4 per 1,000, and it says that if we could increase soil carbon by just 0.4% every year, that tiny amount could offset a major chunk of our emissions. It sounds small, but the impact would be huge. It's a real, tangible goal. So, how do we do it? Well, here's the best part. We don't need some expensive, unproven sci-fi technology. We can use solutions that nature has already perfected. We're talking about things like reforestation, smarter farming that doesn't till the soil, planting cover crops. All these things work with natural cycles to pull carbon out of the air and put it back in the ground, exactly where it belongs.
And our final section, number 5, the restoration in action. Now, this all sounds great in theory, right? But is anyone actually doing it? Is it working? Oh, you bet it is. All across the world, this revolution is already underway.
Let's just take India, for example. There's a massive community-led program in Andhra Pradesh that is actively bringing soil back to life, and we're talking across millions of hectares. This isn't some backyard experiment. This proves that these ideas can work on a massive scale. Or check out this data from Bangladesh. After just 5 years, only 5 years, of using these conservation techniques, farmers saw their soil carbon increase by 12 to 18%. I mean, wow, that is a huge, measurable success story, a real win.
This quote just really says it all, doesn't it? We don't need to invent complicated, expensive machines to capture carbon. We just need to empower the most powerful and effective technology that has ever existed. Living ecosystems, all powered by sunlight and microbes. It's already here. So when you really get down to it, our soil is a powerful, living engine that keeps our entire world running. And that leaves us with just one final question. Are we ready to be its mechanics? Are we ready to learn how to tune it, how to repair it, and how to help it run beautifully once again?